The Black Ops 6 fatigue, I think the Call of Duty fatigue in general, is pretty immense right now, and I think a lot of people are actually feeling this and have been feeling this for the past few years. It's just gradually gotten worse, and this has kind of caused a bit of an issue with Black Ops 7, which is coming up this year, because if you guys have been living under a rock and haven't been looking at the feedback, most people are not looking excited for this new game, and most people are either dunking on the fact that we just had Black Ops 6 in what feels like just 5 minutes ago, and other people are just dunking on the fact that it's going to be the same regurgitated shit with the same list of problems as every other year. And really that made me want to make a video here to just discuss what are the 5 things that I think Black Ops 7 needs in order to succeed and to be considered a great Call of Duty game, because I do think there's a lot of things in here that sure, you will have heard them many a times, and it's because they're valid criticisms, and they're definitely worth putting in here, but there might be some other ones in here that you haven't really heard people complain about all that much, and I'm definitely noticing a lot whilst playing Black Ops 6. Whilst I do have huge problems with Call of Duty right now, I am definitely fatigued, there's no doubt about that. You can see that just from the decrease in uploads that I have been posting over this year thus far, compared to every other year prior. Getting burnt out a lot more now, and I'm not really that interested in the games generally speaking, and I'm just kind of covering stuff for content. That doesn't go without saying that I actually think Black Ops 6 is one of the better ones we've had in recent years. It's been a major step up from the past 3 years at least. It's better than MW3. It's better than that dog shit pile of a game that MW2 was. I mean, it was kind of fun during the beta, but then after that, it just kind of got repetitive and the movement was horrendous. It's somewhat on par with, slightly better than Cold War. Cold War's kind of better in its other areas. So really, it's a hit or miss with that, and it's obviously better than Vanguard, but that's not really saying much. So yeah, whilst I definitely have a lot of problems with Black Ops 6, I do think it's a pretty solid game, but it suffers in many areas, and these areas are going to be covered in this video, and these are the things I want to be fixed for Black Ops 7 going into this year's Call of Duty title. So I think we're going to start with number 5 and work our way down to the most important point. So the least important of the 5, but still pretty important to me, which I've covered in a separate video. I made a whole video about this if you want to check it out. It's around the game's identity and the overall franchise kind of becoming a lot more like Fortnite and all of these other processed children's games with about 50 bajillion fucking crossovers, and the game just looks really stupid. And yeah, it's the bundles and cosmetics. I really genuinely hate that this is a feature in the more modern Call of Duty games, and it's only started to become as bad as it has ever since we turned Call of Duty into this fucking operator game. Instead of just having milsims or characters, we now have operators, and every operator in this game is capable of being customized, having quips, which, don't get me started on the quips, they're just fucking pointless, and half the time it's just your character screaming out stupid shit that's gonna get your character given away to the enemy. Like, I'm reloading, I'm throwing a grenade. That shit's dumb to begin with, and hey, maybe that stuff's been in COD the whole time, but I'm starting to notice it more over the past 6 years, that the quips are just all over the place. You've got really dumb characters they bring in the first place that shouldn't even be in Call of Duty, and they yell out some of the most retarded shit possible that just breaks the immersion beyond belief. Honestly, I have nothing but bad things to say about operators. The only good thing, the one good thing about operators is the fair few times at Halloween maybe where they've brought a cool character in from a horror movie. Something that fits the time period, something that's just kind of interesting and people actually would want to buy. That stuff is good. Everything else, complete garbage. We don't need operators. We don't need all these fucking customizable skins, because all it's enabled is for them to bring loads of random characters and crossovers like Beavis and Butthead and fucking Snoop Dogg, these really zesty looking Jester skins and weird glow-in-the-dark fucking obsidian skins and all this sort of stuff. Like, yeah, some of those can be okay, but mainly it's only kind of cool for content, in my opinion. I don't really give a shit that it's there. I just honestly think a lot of it's a distraction. It really makes it harder for you to play when you've got these bright ass fucking skins running everywhere, breaking the immersion, galaxy skins and shit running around, kid related stuff in the game. I'm surprised Captain America is not in the fucking game yet, to be fair. It's just ridiculous. I think bundles and cosmetics, whilst a very small problem on the list overall, it definitely would be better if they just fucking got rid of it altogether and stuck to the main focus of the game and like its topics and themes for the next Call of Duty. That's a massive wish there. That is like blind hope. That is copium. I know for a fact they're not going to fucking do that, because they don't have any signs of listening at all, do most of these AAA developers, and most of them just don't give a shit, and they want to appeal to this very small subset of the community that wants this garbage. Yeah, definitely bundles and cosmetics, and just the whole operator system. I fucking hate it, and it really needs to go for the next game if I want to call this game even worth redeeming from all the past 6 years. The next one on this list is gunplay. This is arguably very, very important. In fact, this could actually be above the third one, because gunplay, I actually think this is a huge reason why modern Call of Duty games suffer so badly. If you actually go back to like just Black Ops 4 even from 2018, or COD World War II from 2017, these games alone are very, very addictive. The amount of overwhelming support you've seen for these games since coming onto Game Pass is no surprise. Everybody compliments how fun the guns feel, how balanced and realistic everything kind of feels, how satisfying and replayable the game is, and really a lot of what this comes down to, and I know maps are quite important, I think what it really comes down to is the kills. The gunplay is so on point in the older Call of Duty games, and it's obviously gotten worse over the years. The gunplay in the recent games have just kind of not felt very fun. They're okay to a degree, but there isn't this punchiness. There's not this thickness to the shooting where everything feels super balanced and realistic. It feels, satisfying. I think the fact that the gunplay has felt almost identical in every single game since 2019, it's just not fun. There isn't this satisfaction to getting the kills, and that's like the main thing that we play Call of Duty for, is to shoot players to get kills. That's the main point. And if the gunplay for Black Ops 7 isn't going to feel on point, if it's not going to feel different, if it's not going to feel punchy, thick, with satisfying kill tags that pop up and all this kind of shit, it definitely makes a huge impact on whether we want to replay the game or not. This is kind of up there with movement. Movement also kind of comes into the whole gunplay thing. Granted, we've had a pretty good improvement to movement since the past 2-3 years, obviously since MW2. We've definitely had an improvement on movement. The Omni movement's debatable. I really think they should just tone it down, because it's just caused a mass amount of sweating and ridiculous movements that we don't need. They're just kind of hard to counteract in gunfights, and I don't really want to have to counteract it. Some people might call that a skill issue. I just don't think we should have to be sliding and diving around like absolute fucking morons on speed just to get kills. I think that's stupid, and it really just makes the whole enjoyment of playing video games for fun, it makes it less enjoyable because you're not playing for fun. So I think gunplay, all this stuff, it needs to be balanced, and the killing needs to feel satisfying and punchy, I think. And you've had a lot of that in the older Call of Duty games, and movement definitely kind of comes into that a little bit as well. So generally just gameplay. Now, on to number 3, and this one is arguably just as important as gunplay, if not more important, because whilst I'm not a huge fan of the gunplay in Black Ops 6, I do have to say the main problem I have with Black Ops 6, it's the visibility. It fucking sucks, and I've noticed this. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and a lot of people don't really talk about this, but the visibility over the years has gotten progressively worse. Every time I'm playing on a map that isn't as small as Stakeout, I literally cannot fucking see people. The people blend into the environment so much to the point where I'm thinking I'm getting shot out of space by a UFO. Like, I'm running around on Nuketown, and Nuketown's bad enough as it is, and that's a medium-sized map. And some people can call it small. It's not really that small, it's kind of medium-sized. I'm running around on Nuketown. Next thing, I'm fucking lasered from the left side of my screen. I'm trying to look around on the kill cam to see where the hell this guy is. And, oh wow, he's in the corner, just holding an AR and just shooting at me like that. I can't fucking see them whilst I'm in game. It's like there's this discrepancy between the kill cam feed, what they see, versus what everybody else sees whilst they're playing. The players just blend in. Nothing about the environment actually allows the player to pop out. The characters almost look tiny, in fact, from a certain distance. And even games like Splitgate 2 that have come out this year, one thing that game did, and it's not seeming to do as well in Black Ops 6, is people just stand out. So it's not a field of view thing. I have field of view in Splitgate 2. I can see people perfectly fine. The trouble is, the characters just don't stand out, and the environment kind of matches the players, and there's just not enough visual difference. If you go to the older Call of Duty titles, the characters just stood out, and I don't know what it is, if it's that the environment was a lot more saturated, colourful than the characters were, or if it's because they had like thicker character models with little lights on the suits and stuff like that. It's a lot of different things, but I think honestly, the characters being so hard to see make makes the whole experience a lot more jarring, and it just makes you not want to play the game, because you feel like every time you go into a gunfight, you're having to squint within a fucking 10-inch distance from your monitor just to see where people are. And my vision's not shit, guys. I've got pretty good fucking vision. It's not even like it's me, bro. The game is just so fucking hard to see where people are, and it doesn't help when you've got like 20 bajillion bombs landing on the fucking map, fire everywhere, people throwing flashes. It just makes the whole experience even more difficult to see where people are. And the longer the map gets, it just seems that the harder it is to actually see where people are. So this just really makes it hard to combat snipers who are like sitting at the back of the map. It's hard to combat campers as well. This kind of comes behind the whole sniping thing, but campers in general, you just can't really see them at medium ranges or further, because you can't know where to point your gun before you start firing, because they're just not really that visible. You have to be pretty near before you see them. Yeah, I really just don't like this. I really just don't like the visibility. And I think if they fix that for Black Ops 7, make it stand out more, maybe have some like Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 kind of looking gameplay, it would be very fun. The kills would be a lot more enjoyable. You'd be able to see where people are. There wouldn't be this huge guessing game of, am I going to get lasered out of fucking thin air, or am I going to be actually able to see the person coming before it happens and then know that it's me that's the problem and not the game. Now, onto the second one. This is a huge problem, because we're getting now near to the most important problems, and it's skill-based matchmaking. I know everybody rants about this every year, but holy shit, is it bad in this game. I actually think the skill-based matchmaking has gotten 10 times worse than it was in Vanguard. Vanguard was a fucking sweatfest. You had people burning the fuck up out of your map, blowing you up at spawn. This is even worse. I can't even spawn sometimes. I just immediately appear in a new spawn, immediately lasered in the head. The spawns in general are shit, but this is not even just about the spawns. Like, spawns are a problem. They can always be fixed. I think the spawns were actually fine in Black Ops 6, especially in the beta, and then they randomly fucked it up and never fixed it. The spawns are capable of being fine in Black Ops 7 as long as they just don't fuck it over from some random bug or new map tracking or whatever it is. But the skill-based matchmaking is appalling. Nothing can ever take this away from the modern Call of Duty experience. No matter how good you make the game, the skill-based matchmaking is appalling. It is so unplayable. Half of the reason I have so much fatigue from Black Ops 6 is purely because I cannot be bothered to play against a fucking TTV sweat every single match. And I'm punished for this shit because of my prestige, okay? I'm prestige master, but I barely go on the game. As soon as I go into a match, I'm hooked up against like 11 other sweats, right? It's just fucking unplayable. It's so miserable. I don't want to have to go into every single match thinking, holy shit, I've got to have my brain fully locked in on this game, to the point where it's like my eyes are straining themselves and I'm having to like spam my fingers on the controller because I literally have people sliding under my nutsack. I've got people bunny hopping straight into my face with shotguns. I've got everybody running around just cranking the weirdest fucking movement possible and blasting me with these meta weapons. I should not be punished for enjoying a game and putting hours into it. And I think this is a huge problem that people have just been complaining about for years, and they don't fucking listen. Just fix the skill-based matchmaking. I don't care if you don't get rid of it entirely and you need it for some systems. Dial it the fuck back, please. I cannot bear another year of Call of Duty if I'm going into the game and I'm getting demolished and demolished and demolished over and over. How is that fun? Just because you think it's fair to balance ranks out or to make it more easier for the noobs. Fuck the noobs, man. They have to get their ass beat in order to learn. That's how video games work. If you want to get better, you usually will have to get your ass whooped. But if I'm getting my ass whooped based on ranking systems or based on performance from the past game, you're just going to switch everything up, redirect my lobby, and lump me with sweat deliberately because I'm doing well, instead of just putting people together based on connection. That is fucking stupid. And I absolutely think this is a huge problem for the modern Call of Duties. It's just the games are so fucking sweaty and just unplayable to the point where it's just enough for you to just want to be sick after 10 minutes. Please, for the love of God, if anybody's watching this over at the development teams, I know Sledgehammer Games actually does listen to people, so thank you, Sledgehammer, for actually listening, but holy shit, if there's other developers watching this, if there's even that chance, I don't know, you really don't know, please fucking do something about this for the next game. You are going to kill your game beyond belief. It's already been dying. The trajectory has already been going on a steady slope straight down, right? Players have I've complained about this for years. If you don't do anything about it this year, you're going to either fail to Splitgate 2 if they re-release that again in full version, or you're going to just lose to literally Battlefield 6 or any of the other shooter games that are coming out. So definitely they need to fix that. And number one on this list, the final and the biggest problem with these Call of Duty games that Black Ops 7 must fix for it to be a good game is it needs to be innovative. It needs to be a new, fresh experience. The fatigue that's been setting in for all of us players over these years is namely to blame on the fact that there is not much innovation. Sure, Black Ops 6 has done some innovative stuff. It's had the whole Omni movement thing, and it's brought in like some better graphics and that kind of stuff. You know, just basically very surface level stuff. Or the fact that, I mean, it's not really an innovation if you're going back to classic Prestige and classic stuff. That's stuff that should have been in the games since forever. So that's not innovative. That's just them going back to a system that actually worked. But the innovation is just piss poor. It's unacceptable. You look at every game since MW 2019 and they've all been carbon copies, just slightly altered. They all feel the same. They all look kind of the same. The overall movement and everything just feels extremely similar. It's like somebody has taken an Oreo or some other biscuit, right? And they've just kind of pulled the cream out and then they've put a slightly different flavored cream in there. Or they've taken the tops and the bottoms of the Oreo out and just swapped it with like custard creams, like the fucking white ones, but they've just given you back. It's slightly different tasting, but just basically tastes like the same thing, right? That's what these games are like. They don't actually make shit that feels different. Like you look at it and go, wow, this is like its own game. You don't have that shit anymore. Every single game since 2019 has looked and felt the same, and it just has the same old kind of style choices and the same kind of interactiveness with the campaign, but it's all kind of the same predictable pacing and everything. And the TTK, some of it gets faster or slower each year, but it's generally pretty similar. All of it just feels like this boring, uninspired rehash, and it's not trying to do something fucking original. Like in the past, you would have played, let's say, Black Ops 2, then you'd go on to MW3, then you could have gone on to Ghosts, and each game had a different feeling engine. They all looked different. They had different feelings to them. You don't get that anymore. They're all just identical, and it just genuinely kills the whole experience and the excitement and the hype for the new games. It just makes the whole thing kind of fatiguing, and you wonder why people stop playing after a few months and they just kind of rarely hop on to play with friends, because it's just not really that fun and it feels just too similar. That being said, if all these 5 things, or at least most of these things, if they just fix those for the next game, there's a higher chance that this game is going to succeed genuinely. But these last 2, the lack of innovation, skill-based matchmaking, they're like the top 2. Really, those need to be fixed before we focus on any of those other smaller sets of problems. But there you go. That's what I think Black Ops 7 is going to need in order to succeed, in contrary to Black Ops 6. I mean, the titles alone are not much different, so you really are gonna have to make these games different if you want this to stand out. Anyway, that's my rant over. If you guys did enjoy and you did agree with me, be sure to drop a like on the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think there should be in Black Ops 7, and if you agree with any of the things I brought up here in this list. Obviously, a lot of people will agree with like the SBMM and shit like that, but subscribe as well if you want to see more of this commentary content. Black Ops 6 maybe here and there, or other Call of Duty games. I've kind of been doing a little bit of other stuff at the moment. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, guys.